Good evening, Real Sports Fan Podcast, back for another Monday, June the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Blessed to see another day. Got my boy here, my bro, Big Sam Mahan. What's good, bro?
What's going on, baby?
Been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. How's everything?
Things are good, man. As good as they can be. 2020 is one of them years, but
Yeah.
everything is good.
It's one of them years, but still, we take the good with the bad, and like you said, take it one day at a time, and all that. So it's good to have you, man. Like you said, it's been a while. We had you since season 2 last year, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot to change. Before we get into some of the topic stuff we discussed, first, tell people what you've been up to. Last time you was on here, you was what we call a single man, even though you were in a relationship, but now you're a married man, so now it's different. So let's talk about marriage and life, and just talk about some of the things you've been getting into.
Yeah, it's new, man. Marriage life, it's a blessing. It really is a blessing, honestly. I will say that. To find someone that you're just compatible with and that just supports you the way you want to be supported, it's truly a blessing. The wedding was in November. Y'all sent me home right.
Yeah.
Y'all sent me home right. But nah, it's just been nothing but happy moments, honestly. I haven't been in it long enough to find out the bad times or the stressful moments yet. But I feel like with the support system of my wife, support system of my brothers around me that I go to and ask questions about, and call y'all on late night and be like, what I need to do. And it's good, man. It's good.
Brotherhood, man. Brotherhood. So yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Shout out to Kanisha. You know what I'm saying? So we shout y'all out, and nothing like black love. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like black love. So we love it. And like you said, man, there's been a lot going on. I know the COVID-19 has kind of slowed a lot of things up, even that you were doing. But talk about some of the things you were doing, whether it's community-based, things in the church, things like that. Talk a little bit about some of the things you've been doing.
Yeah. One thing that I missed is that we finished our second year with the Bridgeville High School, the FCA program, Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Awesome, man. Say that again?
Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Athletes. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, big mentorship program. Going in, talking to the football players, the basketball teams, meeting with them on Wednesday nights, preparing the meals, having real discussions with them. I mean, you can see that these kids, a lot of them have a direction of where they want to go. They don't know how to get there.
That's key.
Yeah. So that's been big. At the church, the ministry, the youth ministry, the videos that we've been doing through the COVID-19. A lot of support from the church itself. A lot of support from people outside the community, really embracing on what we're trying to do with the kids. We all know that what it's like to be a kid. We all know what it's like not having guidance at times,
Yep.
So we definitely want to do things that are putting the kids on the right path, give them the tools, make sure they have all the resources that they need. Honestly, little things like, it took me, to be honest, I was like 17 before I learned how to tie a tie. So
like that,
little things that we want to be able to let our kids know how to do and know what to do, prepare themselves for what's going on out there when they become an adult or become 18, 19, 20 years old. Some of the volunteering work that we do all the time with feeding the homeless, pancake breakfasts, storage sheds, cleaning out. Anytime we get a chance to give back, I'm always trying to answer my phone. So
that's what's up, man. And first, shout out your church, but also talk a little bit about the videos. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're for the youth department. So talk a little bit, shout your church out, and then talk about the videos, because I know some people have seen it on Facebook, YouTube. That's about what y'all been doing.
Yeah, well, the church, the Life Center, Bridgeville. You can always find us on YouTube at the Life Center, 33 Youth. Parents, kids, take a look. Videos, if you want a quick church lesson, it's hard to keep your child seated for a long period of time, and you want a little church lesson, a little Bible story, educational lesson for your child, take a look at the videos. Definitely something that's gonna bless them. It blesses me being able to do that work. I feel myself, I learned so much more working with the kids, talking to the kids, so they're actually teaching me as I'm teaching them. I think that's big. And sometimes, you know, we just need someone to look up to, someone to talk to. Even and it's teaching me that even as an adult, we need someone to talk to. You know, someone to say, hey, I'm going wrong, I'm going left. Help me go right. I think that's one of the problems in our community, that we're afraid to ask that question to help us go right. So we certainly want to continue to, you know, mold young minds. That's the key. Get them when they're young. So we can, you know.
Hey, that's good stuff. I'm laughing because SB is funny. SB said, my God saying to me, but you know how we all go back. You know, we've been on many podcasts. But SB, you probably right, and I give him credit. I'm around him a little bit more, so I know. But he said this is probably the most sentences he's heard you talk. And he said he's full of amazing right now because you speak it good.
Yeah.
So shout out SB, man. My
growth,
dog.
man.
Shout out SB. Shout out SB, Devin Beck, Ben Tom. If you ain't heard it, I don't know where you've been at, but man, go listen to that, man. That record y'all put out yesterday, my Down There show at 6 p.m. yesterday, it was fire. Awesome, man. It's an important message out there. You gotta listen. Important message. I just one thing about me, I just ain't out there, you know, saying listen to any song. But what they did on that record lyrically, and shout out my cousin Bryce production. Doing production now, so shout out him and everything he did with it. But it's great, man. So go listen to Ben Tom, but it puts a lot of things in perspective. It really does. So SB, man, appreciate you. And SB, I want you to stay on here because we're gonna get into a little bit of stuff right here, and I want your perspective as well in here. Shout out to everybody that's out there right now watching. Go ahead and share this thing. Comment if you like. Let people know. You know, we back. We here. I want to get into Sam, the NBA return, to get your thoughts on the thought of the NBA returning. It is supposed to return July 30th. They did push it up a day. So they've kind of panned everything out now as far as that goes. There's one group of players who are all for playing. There's actually three groups of players. There's a group of players that want to play, which is the highest number of players. There's a group of players that don't want to play for certain reasons that we'll get into. And there's a middle ground who are really just trying to still gather more information. And that's what the calls have been for with the Player Association, Chris Paul, president, along with Michelle Roberts and the NBA. Also, Kyrie Irving led a call that was on with, you know, Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley, guys that don't want to go. They want to put more time into the Black Lives Matter movement. So just tell me your thoughts on the NBA returning, when you first heard about returning, as far as you've been excited, just your thoughts, and then also what side are you on as far as what the NBA should do, what the players should do?
Yeah. When they said they was returning, I was excited as a fan. You know, we've been without sports for quite a long time. You know, we get excited to watch the full 7 rounds of the NFL draft. You know, we need some sports.
Yeah.
So as a fan, I'm definitely excited. Like, let's get back to this, watching LeBron. I said LeBron wasn't gonna win no more championships. So I want to see if you know somebody can stop that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It's on tape. It's on tape.
Right. No, I'm talking SB.
Yeah. But so as a fan, I want to see it from a standpoint of safety, and you know the situation is, people gotta understand, COVID is still out here. And it hasn't changed. And the more they put people in centralized locations, the more the numbers are going up. And they're talking about second phases of this. And I think we had talked about it earlier before. These deaths are really taking place. And
it's still out here.
Yeah, and these players, they're human. They got families to feed. They got families they want to be around. They want to watch their children grow. They don't want to take that risk. So I can understand where they're going. As far as Kyrie, I'm not against what Kyrie's saying. I agree with him. I think when it comes to the Black Lives Matter, now as an individual, if that's the stand that you want to take, then by all means, I'm with you. When you start talking about if you're talking about other people's money and other people's livelihood, that's not really for you to speak on. But for Kyrie, it may work. And if that's the stand, honestly, the wearing the shirts has already taken place. The silent protests have taken place. But something drastic may have to happen to make a change. And if the media, if the football, the basketball, the baseball, if players stop playing, somebody's going to wake up and see something. it's just not. How can you not see it?
So, and I agree with that. And I'm glad you said include all of them. I'm glad you included basketball, football, and baseball. Obviously, baseball has an issue right now. What has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
They have a money issue. With the money issue they have right now. Football, from what everybody's saying, is still supposed to go on as usual, even though today Zeke Elliott has COVID-19. So there was someone that came out and said that maybe NFL needs to start looking at delaying the season for that. NBA, obviously, as we've seen, they're creating a campus-like environment to start play back up. But this is my question to you, because I know you were talking a little bit about COVID, and you were also talking about what Kyrie said. Now, when I first heard Kyrie's take on it, actually, I take that back. Before I heard Kyrie's take on it, I figured, they must be really worried about getting COVID, you know, and as you should, I can understand that, even though they're going to be getting tested every other day, and it's going to be creating that bubble and different things, but it's more along the lines of the Black Lives Matter movement. And even though, we can be in Orlando, we'll have the place. We'll be on TV. We'll have the platform to say what we want, to wear whatever shirts and things like that. Some of the players still don't want to go because they think, one, it could be a distraction, and then two, I also feel like, this is just my opinion, that without being with being quarantined in that bubble, them not be able to get out to march or to go to this place or that place. So what's your thoughts on the different scenarios? Do you give me a side that should they come? Do you think they should come back, or don't you? So give me a side, and then give me a reason why you feel that way as well.
Of course, the fan side says yes, but honestly, as a man,
I just want you. Because it's going to be a lot of percent. Because it's a thing. You got it as a fan, you got it as a man, you got it as a black man. Yeah. So, and I want everybody's input. There's no wrong answers. No, not at all. I'm still educating myself on a lot of things as we all are, and that's why I'm going to take a look at your comment. So, whatever you say is not right, not wrong. I ain't gonna jump down nobody's throat or nothing like that. But just let me know, what
honestly,
you think.
I don't think they should play. I think they should. To me, it hadn't been enough time yet. Like you still are doing studies. Now I know that's something that came out today about testing the football players 3 times a week, but you're having a hard time testing people in regular communities. But you can test football players 3 times a week. Let's use those tests on something else, on the communities that are out here struggling with the deaths of COVID-19, people that are 35 and 36 years old, older people that are 50s and 60s and 70s. Let's use those 3 times a week tests, because you look at the numbers. Every football roster itself has 53 roster spots. 55, I think, maybe changed this year. It's 32 NFL teams. That's a lot of tests. That's a lot of tests. And yet we're sitting there with hospitals overloaded that can't test people or tell somebody quickly that it's just a sign, it's just an infection, it's just a cold. Going back home. I think honestly, from that standpoint, I'm on the side of, I love sports, I need it, but I think we should do without it.
But your and let me know if I'm wrong, your lane on it, it sounds like you're talking about COVID. But the reason why Kyrie, the Dwight Howard, and those guys don't want to get on there or get on that campus is really because of the Black Lives Matter movement. Because again, that's what I thought. At first, I thought they were talking about COVID. Black Lives Matter movement. They're saying now is the time, full steam ahead, to basically do everything we need to do. So, do you agree with that?
Yeah. I do stand. I think we said it before. I stand with that Kyrie side. I think that something has to be done differently, and I think somebody said it best. I can't think of what article I was reading, but. When Kyrie and them take the jerseys off and they walk outside those doors, they're still a black man in America.
For sure.
How it hits somebody or how someone feels about the situation. I know they're athletes, but I stand with Kyrie and Dwight. Now I know players are going to want to play, fans are going to see them play, but something has to be done differently, and maybe that may be the step that someone's put on their heart to do something differently.
And you're right. It does have to be something differently done. And SB, appreciate the quote. And I actually did catch a little bit of what Stephen A. was saying. I didn't get everything, but I did hear the part a little bit about the Kyrie and the Dwight and what they were saying. And it is, and like with everything, no one's going to all agree. You can go many ways, but the way I look at it, in which I think the NBA has always taken a forward approach, and they always set the tone when it comes to everything. I mean, when you go back to Donald Sterling, you know, when they caught him on tape talking about black people, I'm going to say David Stern, but Adam Silver said, we got to get him out of here. You know, they got him out of there real quick. You know, go back to any stance that players have taken. Miami Heat, actually, obviously everybody knows I'm a big Heat fan.
Yeah.
You know, they did the video when Trayvon Martin got murdered. You know, they did that video. When Eric Gardner got choked out. Mm-hmm. You know, I Can't Breathe shirts, LeBron, Derrick Rose. You know, you won't get a fine like that from Adam Silver or anybody like that. You know, when it comes to things like that. But the NFL is different. You know, so what the NBA has done is they said you don't have to come, and you won't get fined. Now you're going to end up losing some money. Now whatever's guaranteed is guaranteed. It's not worth the NFL, but you're going to lose some money. But you're not going to be penalized. Okay. So with that, do you still go with Kyrie and just elaborate on that a little bit for me, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I still stand by what Kyrie and them is saying. I still stand by the approach of that we have to do something different. I think when it comes to the entertainment world, that's where people's eyes are seeing it, because we have a lack of sports right now. Then to have sports so that we can see wearing shirts and, you know, those silent protests and those ways out, we've got to find a different way. And I think by doing the same thing, we're not making any changes. I get it. I understand what they've been done in the past, and Kyrie and them are trying to take a different approach on it. And that's a drastic measure. You have a lot of those top players that decide to sit out or not play. That's a big deal. The same way years ago, what happened with the Dream Team, where the players opted not to play for the Dream Team, right? Am I right? Correct? You the basketball star.
Oh, the Dream Team. 92?
No. When the players opted not to play, they had to do their team that ended up losing real bad. A couple only getting like bronze.
What they end up?
Yeah, but no, they had no social media. No, but what I'm saying is that when they didn't play,
right,
they realized how bad they did. They had to make a change, and players stepped up and said, "I'm coming back."
You talking this past summer then for the World Championship?
I'm talking about the year when they had Boozer in them.
Oh, 04.
Yeah.
04.
Yeah.
Boozer and Young
yeah.
and them. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
so what the comparison I'm saying is that what now we see somebody saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play. Kyrie, a big time NBA player, star.
Right.
Is he a star? Would you call him a superstar?
No, he's not a superstar. He's a
star.
He's
a star. Okay.
Yeah, he's a star.
So other stars, superstars, follow that same trend. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to see that.
But this is the thing, and forget that 04.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I know I came in late, but I'm gonna dismiss that.
No, think about it.
I'm gonna dismiss that because I can't get with that.
No.
But I get what you're saying as far as, and someone has to. But this is the thing, and that's me, chime in as well. I think the best thing he said was that you can stay home and you don't get penalized. Nothing's gonna happen. But this is the thing. Mm-hmm. Listen to me. Of course, this thing we have to continue to do more. This is not going to be a one-day thing.
No.
We can't march for 1 week or 2 weeks and think that the world is going to see things how we see it. We can't do it for a month. We can't do it for a year. This thing is not a sprint; it's a marathon. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, if they decide to do that, which is fine. If everyone decides to do that, which is fine. Is football going to do it? Because they're the ones that have so much systematic racism inside that organization, inside the NFL. Are they going to do it?
Are they going to do it?
And they have more money.
Yeah.
They're making more money than anybody. Is baseball going to do it? No, I can answer you that right now. And then my question is this: the second part, or the next season is supposed to start December 1st. Are they going to do it come next season? Because you don't play this season. Next season probably going to be canceled. It's going to be a lockout. So the only point I'm making is, if we're going to do this now, let's continue to do it. Okay. I mean, shut it down for good. I mean, it's going to be a while.
So it's either we do it and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Or we
don't say we're not going to start playing July 30th. Mm-hmm. But then
December.
The first weekend in September, they got NFL football and people going.
Oh yeah, I think.
So my thing is, if you're not going to play, don't play no sport.
Yeah, it has to be collective.
Because my thing is, again, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. This thing is going to take. It's going to take everybody. It's going to take consistent levels of continue to do this. Continue to end racism. Ask Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Ask Jim Brown. I mean, ask these guys who's been. Ask Bill Russell, who was playing for the Boston Celtics. Massachusetts, one of the most racist places ever. You know, it's still going on. Torrey Hunter just came out and said how racist the city of Boston was.
It was the general manager of Boston agreed with him.
Yeah, and he agreed. He agreed with him. So all I'm saying is, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right and take it all out.
So then, what side do you stand on it?
I think they should play. I think they should play because, and the reason I think they should play is because I think you still have that platform. Everybody's watching, and that's why what happened this time. And I say this time because black men been getting killed for years and years and on top of years. You know, and it's still just happened a couple days ago again in Atlanta. So it still hasn't stopped since you know, it hasn't stopped. It's not going to stop. We have to continue to be in the forefront of it. But I say play because you have the platform. But what you can't do, and this is where I see what Kyrie and the White saying, I can't go out with my brothers and sisters and march. Now, I don't know who's been marching with. I know Giannis had. I've seen Giannis and Michael Brown has been everywhere. Westbrook. You know, those guys have been everywhere. But it's also, you have to look at it from this perspective as well. Kyrie can afford to do that.
Yeah.
Some of the rookies that's coming who's on nice contracts can do that. Some of the other guys can afford to do that. There was a stat. I won't even call it a stat. There was some information that I came upon that maybe Stephen A. even said SB. 80% of players live check to check. Check to paycheck. So it don't matter if it's outside the NBA or inside the NBA. You know, money is still going to drop it. And again, I'm all for that. But again, what I'm saying is shut it all down. And so what I'm saying is we might not have sports no more.
So then you're taking
so either I die or Jesus come back. What I'm saying is this is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. This is every day. This is every day. So just tell me what you think. I got a lot of comments here.
That's a valid point. You definitely threw some facts out there, some detail, but supportive evidence.
Come on, SB with it. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got to do something, if you have that platform, what are you going to do on that platform? Because you had the platform before. And you wore your hoodies, you did your solid protest, so you had that platform before. Mm-hmm. What other steps can you take from that same platform?
What other steps can you take from? You continue, but now with COVID happening, and NBA is gonna be the only sports on at that point. They're gonna be the only ones on. So just like with everything else that's happened, the reason why we've looked at this thing more, and I'll say some. Obviously, a lot of us have been in this thing for a long time looking at it, but the reason why I'll say it like this: some white people have opened their eyes now is because nothing else in the world is going on. They didn't have spring baseball. They didn't have these things. So the platform is going to be different. But what I agree with Kyrie is that you're not going to be able to march. You're not going to be able to get out in the communities. But what I'm saying is you got to continue to do that, whether it's sports or whether it's not sports. Because again, what I'm saying is in a few months, December 1st, the season's going to come right back around as well.
So
what are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? And again, when you're in 99th percentile of player earnings, again, hey, I can afford to miss that. Yeah. But you can't necessarily say that about every player as well.
But if the platform and plan takes away from what you want to do,
I agree with that. You can see a distraction.
Yeah,
I agree with the distraction part as well. That sometimes we will look at sports and all we know is sports. We forget about what's happening in our communities, what's happening on the street, what's happening because the game's on. But this is the thing: the game's on for those couple hours. Sometimes, what's wrong with having a 2.5 hour? And again, one thing about me, it ain't gotta be a popular thing. I can be on this bridge all by myself. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to these, I can be on this by myself because this is how strong I feel about it, is that you play, but you use every tool necessary to make it change. Austin Rivers said this. Austin Rivers even said, use the money you're going to get from playing to build your communities up, to do things politically. That's why another reason why I'm jumping still with racism, but the NFL. Pop had said about the NFL owners. If it was really up to him, why don't you take money and go up to the White House and fight for something?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, in 2016, 7 of the NFL owners gave Trump money to the campaign, gave $1 million apiece to the campaign. So trust me, when September rolls around, they gonna play.
Yeah,
NFL's gonna play. So that's my point. Yeah, the NBA always has to be to the forefront of it. But what I'm saying is, it's not as easy for some than it is for others.
And that's definitely, you can say that same case about people that are protesting. You know, it may be easy for some to protest, it's not easy for others.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're taking that, you're talking about as far as players that are, if we play, I'm taking away from what I really feel strong in my heart about and what I'm passionate about doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, we're giving the NBA the platform. We're giving the NBA, you know, all alone, nothing else around. But as a sports fan, think about it. How many times is basketball game on, and you on a commercial break looking at your phone and other articles?
True. All
so
the time.
when that stuff
or
is
skipping a commercial.
yeah, and that's with no season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if we into our phones, into the media that much, when it's the preseason or exposition games. When the season on, we're gonna be constantly in them phones. That's where we're going to social media. That's where that time is going. So once again, more of our attention is going to be on what? The basketball game. The fact that someone got hurt on the basketball court. The fact that someone maybe, you know what I mean, LeBron had 35 points last night.
Yeah, I agree.
So the discussions change, the focus gets misdirected. And that's just one
I agree. You can definitely see a
self.
distraction. I agree. And again, I'm all, and I want to say this: I'm all. If they all decide to not play, I hope they all decide. You know, you get half the players don't want to play, and half don't want to play, and some of the players you only know what's on the team. I mean, that's just going to be done. Everybody's going to just sit.
Just sit out.
And honestly, as long as sports hasn't been on, I'm fine with it. I'm catching up on Blacklist right now. You know what I mean? I'm almost on season 4. I'm Netflixing. You know, I'm fine with it. And I'm looking at a little bit more news, like you said I wouldn't look at. You know, so I'm fine with no sports because I'm used to it now. It's been long. But what I'm saying is, and fine, don't come back, and I'm for that. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to see no NFL. I don't want to see y'all Ravens fans, especially going and getting tickets up to M&T Bank Stadium and all that nonsense. and then you got your jersey cheering Lamar Jackson, this, that, and the third, and you done forgot just because the NBA players didn't go. I also don't want to see the NBA players come December 1st, or actually before that because the training camp. December 1st come, and then they talk about a season. Yeah. Well, what happened a few months ago?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? Yeah. That's what is it? Can somebody say, what's the difference? If we're going to do it, cut all sports out, get together, and do it together. Because the NBA can't just go by themselves. NFL can just by themselves, and they shouldn't have to. It takes all of us. Yeah. It takes all, not just black people. It's going to take some of them white friends y'all got too.
It's going to take a lot of them.
It's going to take a lot of them. It's going to take a lot of them. What's going on? Trav St. Patrick, what's going on? I'm going to get into some of these comments.
Trav.
Hey, SB, stop it. Get on live tonight. No, I don't shake for nobody, baby. So I want to get with some of the. So Mika made a point on here about, we talk about platforms. 1968 Olympics. They used a platform. You know, they had the black gloves. Got up there. Now they had to win. I think they were second and third. Tommy Smith, and the other name is I'm losing it, but forgive me. But they got their black gloves and they salute with the black power. So I was just talking about, that's one platform. Now I do agree that it hasn't worked so far, and I'm not saying that it's going to work with that platform or without that platform. Because like you said, even with if we take more months away and do what they're doing, it still might not work. But I do agree that being out in the community, being around people, you know, Steven Jackson, all he's done. Yeah. You know, I mean, he was there from day one in Minnesota. You know, when Frank got killed. So I understand all that. George Floyd got killed, but it's going to take a lot of us. And again, it's a marathon. Yeah, it's a marathon. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see sports the rest of 2020. Then is what I'm saying. And again, I'll be fine with that.
That I can agree with.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, do you want to say anything else about do you think it was the right time for Kyrie? Do you think Kyrie has another agenda? Do you think everything Kyrie's saying is legit when it comes to his reasoning? Or what do you think?
I'm supportive of Kyrie. I'm not really a Kyrie fan like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm supportive of Kyrie. I mean, I think every individual has their own mindset of what they want to do and what they feel comfortable doing and how it affects them. And I'm gonna say that because, you know, with more time on our hands because of the COVID-19 situation, I feel like that affects us. The effect is on us even more because we have time to sit there and read about it and hear about it and be more attentive. So I think there's no basketball season, there's no workouts, those type of things. Kyrie has had time to sit there and really analyze what's important right now. And right now, honestly, like I said, maybe because he has the money in the bank versus someone like Austin Rivers who may not have the money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But he's analyzing what's important for him. And speaking on for him, that's what he needs to do. And I'm supportive of that.
And I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with that too. And RJ, I'm gonna get to your comment. That actually is good too. And that's true. And that's true too. I do also wonder. So all this is coming together now. Antonio Davis came out earlier. I think this might be yesterday. I did see that SB on First Take where he said that LeBron's only tweeted he needs to come out and say something about what's happening. He's got young sons. He got that. And listen. And for this, I might be different than some people, but LeBron, if anybody has done a lot, it's been LeBron.
Yeah.
You know,
facts.
You know, he's what some call the MJ of this era, the best player of this era. Not getting into that GOAT stuff. We know that's Jordan. But as far as off the court, he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. He's done more than anybody. The ESPYs, what did him, D Wade, Melo, and CP3 do? You know, I mean, they've done this thing. You know, so for Antonio Davis to say that LeBron needs to come out, first of all, we're in a different world now. That when you do tweet, that tweet it goes places. You know, it might not seem like a big deal. Antonio Davis, he old school, but when you send tweets and you on Twitter and you make those statements, it don't go away. We know guys now that they made statements years ago. They try to do something, they will come back. Oh, blah blah blah. You said this. You know, whether it was racist stuff, whether it was whatever it was.
Now it's low
yeah. So what I'm saying is, just because you haven't seen what Mike is saying, obviously you know you can't because he hasn't had that platform to do that. I also agree. Shout out to Lonk because me and Lonk had a little discussion earlier, and Lonk made me see things from a different perspective, which is real good. Is that everyone can't do what, because we were going off of what Pat Babb said on Twitter about if LeBron say we're gonna play this, is that everybody can't do what LeBron does as far as play well and still have the Black Lives Movement, still push the Black Lives Movement. You know, everyone can't do two things. Everybody can't chew gum and tie their shoes at the same time. People can't. Everybody can't type and talk at the same time. You know, so he made a good point with that, and I agree with that. That's the reason sometimes we do need to stop everything just to do that. Dwight Howard, my wife, she made a good point. I don't know if people know, but he just lost one of his children's mother.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So a lot of what Dwight was saying, it wasn't even really about Black Lives Matter. He mentioned that, but it was really about being with your family. And I understand that during this time because it's a scary time. So being away from your family for 3 months, even though some of them are only going to be there 8 games and they're gone. So some of them, I don't even know, but obviously we expect the White to be there for a long time. So even with that, I understand not wanting to be away from your wife, away from your kids, away from your family with everything going on, all the hatred in the world, and with COVID on top of that. I understand that.
It's hard being separated. I mean, you live in the same town.
And you live in the same right. So right. I mean, we know how that was in the same town. So I understand that. But what I'm saying, there's more than just what Kyrie's saying, and that's SB. That's why I'm coming back to what Kyrie's saying as far as the Black Lives Matter movement, because he's saying some other stuff about. He's saying a lot. You gotta read his quotes, but he was actually even talking about systematic racism in the NBA. And I know it's racism everywhere, but the NBA is in one of those leagues compared to, again, the NFL, MLB, MLS, whoever, that you can't necessarily say that about, you know, even though the white owner's at the top, and he's gonna make his money just like in the NFL, you know. But I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you at all. We got a few more comments here.
I disagree with Antonio Davis taking that shot at LeBron. That's unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, it kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But you know, when you're at the top like that, which LeBron is, he's at the top in the game. He's at the top, like you said, on that platform. People want to see you do more. They want to see your face out there. So I guess calling him up was his way of saying, LeBron, we need to see you. You help lead this charge.
Mm-hmm.
But you really don't know what that man's doing behind doors. You don't know what he's donating.
Yeah,
you don't know what he's doing.
I agree. I agree with that.
Can't question that.
And then with his school, shout out Jalen Rose, his school. But all I'm saying is this thing's not a sprint.
No,
this thing is a marathon. So what I'm saying is we need to shut down sports for good. Let's shut down for good. Because he's saying until we get things right, what's that going to be?
And what's your definition of right?
Thank you. What's the definition of right?
What's the definition of right?
That's me. He asked, what's the definition of right? This thing is a marathon. This thing is a marathon. My grandfather's 80 years old. He still is dealing with things that he's seen in the 30s. It still happened in 2020. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. It's a marathon. I do want to get a couple other questions. Shout out Ralph. What up, Ralph? He had a good question on here, and I'll ask you. Is John Carlos? Thanks, Michael Stanford. John Carlos. I know at times I couldn't think of the other one. John Carlos. They made a stance on that platform. RJ asked, and I'll ask you, do you see more prominent D1 athletes, top athletes, going to HBCUs? Man, you came from HBCU. Shout out to UMS. Hawk Pride, baby.
Go Hawks, baby.
Go Hawks, baby. You know what I'm saying? So do you see more of the top athletes? We've heard about a couple that may do it, but until that time comes, it's kind of hard. What do you speak on? Speak on that for me a little bit.
I think it'll be part of a movement if it happens. Do I see him doing it? I don't see a whole lot doing it at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see it spaced out. I think you'll see it until someone decides to put a little bit more money in these people in these kids' pockets, or put a little bit, a bigger house on in front of their parents. UMES and those type of HBCUs can't contend with those couple of universities that are illegally putting that money out to these players.
Mm-hmm.
So with what's on their heart as far as their passion, okay, I'm going to play for HBCU because it's better for me, who I am. Then that's good until someone decides to get smart and say, hey, let me offer him more money than he's ever seen in his lifetime at the age of 17. So I don't think you're going to see a large 10, 12, or top 25 athletes ready to make those changes, but it's got to start somewhere. You'll see one or two do it the same way you've seen Brandon Jennings go across seas and play across seas for the first,
Right.
before going to college. So it'll happen, but I don't really see too many of the top groups going at one time. It'll be, like you said, a marathon. It won't be, let me take the next 15 top athletes. And
Right. It's just, like you said, it's going to take one. Just like with a lot of stuff, it always takes one person to make that giant step, for more to follow or to have that conversation. Mm-hmm. And that's what this has been good. Like you said, with, who knew COVID, with COVID and all this, the world basically stopped and we were able to pay more attention to these things. So like you said, I started to say, it takes one. It's going to take one, SB still wants you to argue with me. He told you, give me that. So I don't know what you want to argue with. We on opposite sides, We on opposite sides.
Talk to me,
again, just like Mika said in there, though, there's it's multi-layered, it's multifaceted. There's multiple ways. That's me. There's multiple ways I can get to your house. I ain't gonna tell people we live, but it's multiple ways. It's multiple ways to get there. You know what I'm saying? I can take a couple different routes. Just like when you're in a building, most people want to take the elevator, but when they try to get their steps in, what they gonna do? They're gonna take the steps. You know what I'm saying? So it's multiple ways. It's multiple ways to get it. But I'm glad we're having a conversation. D'Amica said the NBA is literally a plantation in many respects, and I would agree. White owners, but there's systematic racism everywhere. It's an American as apple pie, and that's true. It's everywhere. We've wondered. Me and Sam can talk about this, and you got to talk about it. It's my live. I talk about it right here. But there are jobs that I know we ain't get. Can I speak on it? I know we didn't get because we was black. I know we didn't get because somebody was racist. I know we didn't get because somebody didn't like us. We were too outspoken. We were the big black guy that was outspoken. So it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I know. It took me a long time to see certain things in the business world. You know what I'm saying? So it's there. You know what I'm saying? You want? I don't want to get you in trouble. You want?
Nah. You said it right. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the scary part as we grew up, and we can see it now as 34, 35-year-old men. But think about what we see when we look at our kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is everywhere. It's in the jobs. It's in the the schools. You know, you got programs offered in school systems that kids are being put out of because supposedly they're not ready.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak too much on it, but
I
you
feel
know, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's a reason because someone's allowing someone to do it.
That's it. That's it.
Someone's allowing someone
to do it, and as you continue to allow a person to do it, then they're going to continue to do it. They're going to continue to do it. So, but I mean, again, we can have these conversations, you know, to the most part we need to. These are what conversations we need to have. You know, we get on the Facebook page about bringing the Tall Boy statue down. We see it. We see it right there. We see the racism, the ignorance. People that keep all of a sudden want to talk about not letting history go, like all that foolishness and this that. We see these things. You know, so we got to continue to have a conversation. If anybody don't know, there's a march Friday. If you don't know, I'm live at BAM, right in front of BAM. Then you got to meet at 4:30 from 5 to 7. I think we're marching from the bottom to the hill. You know, we need to see as many people as possible. Just because we went a couple weeks ago, we did our thing, had our posters, marched. It was a beautiful thing. But we got to do it again. We got to continue to do it. So that's the only reason I say that. Hey, if there's no NBA, I'm fine with it. But I don't want to see no season next year. I don't want to see no NFL. I don't want to hear about no fantasy football. I don't want to hear about. Yeah, I know, right? If I'm saying that,
you're right.
You're right. I don't want to hear about none of that stuff. Let's do it. Let's continue to put all resources in there. But you know, all the players though, seriously though, and you know, we can say what we want. All the players can't afford to do that though.
No,
all the players no. You know, they just can't. I mean, would me and you love to do more for our community and still get paid and miss work?
Absolutely.
We would love to. But you got work. We got to work 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, and still do these things.
Yeah.
Huh? And that's what I'm saying. We're working and still doing these things. So that was my only thing with the NBA players is use whatever the platform is, SB. And SB, hope we can get on this live after this. We can do something. I'll run home, get on live. We can get on there together. Get on Zoom, whatever, real quick. But. You know, that's what we need to do. I'm sorry, my wife threw me off. She talking about ordering food. Mom went somewhere. Don't put that in the comments. Mom went somewhere. But yeah, you can order. But we got to have those. Continue to have those conversations.
Look, we all got to do our part individually, and we may not know what that part is. I know I reached out to some of my younger, my daughter and then my nephew. We got to, no matter if they're 9, 10, 8, we got to let them know what they're seeing and what their role is, because they have a part to play in this as well. Yeah, they got to continue to strengthen their minds, push that education, because they have when they're wise, can't nobody take that from them. You know, we used to say about our degrees. When you get that college degree, no matter what you do with it after the fact, can't nobody take it from you. So these kids, we got to continue to push that education on our kids and let them do their part, because. And make them understand that they're African Americans growing up in this society, and their skin is beautiful. Their skin is, don't let nobody talk about your skin color. Don't let nobody talk about those things that are in a negative way. Appreciate who you are and where you come from. Let them know the messages that everything what they're seeing on TV or hearing on video games is not how it's being portrayed. What the reason is. Yeah. So everybody got to do their part, and whether it's talking to kids, talking to youth, having these meetings, having all the brothers having a discussion, or protesting. That's just do your part. It may don't have to be out there in the limelight or on the streets, but everybody has a part to play.
And I applaud, I really do, the people that I've seen so many people that are fighting with us. They're asking for literature, they're asking for information, they're asking questions. They're not just turning their nose up and being like, what are they talking about? Like, it was a woman said, like, last week I was reading some of my comments. That's why I get off the comments stuff, because it just takes off. But the minority shouldn't. They always try to dictate. I'm probably quoting wrong, but something about minorities dictating what the majority do. My wife got there. First of all, that's never been the case. I wish we could dictate. I wish we could dictate what happens in the world, but we can never do it. But that's what all this is about. It's about coming together, make sure these people see the racism in this country that's still going on. Dr. King marched for this stuff, and we still are dealing with so many others. I mean, I know Dr. King was who we think about, but so many people Marshall, we don't even know. You know, so it's a continued thing. It's a continued thing. I did want to ask you about Ralph. You're right as far as sports can become a distraction, and you and Sam both hit that right on the nose too. That with the one thing I will say out of the whole thing is that I do agree with that, because I know sometimes when I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, what do? We distract ourselves, from sports, whether it's playing or watching. So I do agree with that. No matter what happens, I just hope people continue to fight, continue to do what's right, continue to make your voice be heard, because I mean, again, you got to be in this thing for the long haul. I think Donnie even said last time on his show that he's been doing a lot of things from the very beginning, and then sometimes you get frustrated, because you might think you're taking a step forward, but then you take 2 steps back. But you can't get frustrated. You got to continue to push, continue to come together, and like you said, have these conversations. These conversations are important to have, so it's important. Before we do it right, though, I ain't gonna get out here before we're talking about your Dallas Cowboys.
Speaking of no sports,
let's talk about your Cowboys. Let's spend a few minutes on that, because I got 2 parts here.
Okay.
I want you to talk about your draft and what you took from your draft as far as the pluses that you had. I'm sure you probably get y'all A plus. That's how you do. But tell me about your draft, and then tell me about the Dak Prescott situation with the contract.
Let me start with the draft. That Dak will give me chest pain. I ain't gonna say A plus draft, but we definitely hit an A. With any draft, you gotta see it come together first. You gotta see it on the field. You gotta have your quarterback, truthfully, because you got another weapon. I think that for once, Jerry Jones finally it fell into his lap, and he just couldn't turn his head and say no this time. The way it played out, like I said, with all the time on our hands, we got a chance to watch all 7 rounds of it for the 3 days it's on. I'm talking about
that's true.
all picks, but the way it played out, even outside of the actual CD Lamb pick, the player that we had on our board at 17, that we were going to get at 17, if certain players weren't available, in Trayvon Diggs, we got him at 51. We had Gilmore rated at 50 to get him at 51. We got him at 82. So I think with our draft, the name, if you follow football, the names, you love, you appreciate. But it's gonna be some players there, and I'm talking about. We got a 4th and a 5th round pick that are gonna be some players. Watch out for Bradley and Nye. Watch out for the name Reggie Robinson. 6'2" corner. Not really thinking about it. He can't hear in one ear, but he can still play the game. You know what I mean?
You got that level. You can play.
If you get, you got 2 corners, so we'll look at the draft in like a year or so, 2 years, see who's still on the roster. Because you get all these picks and all these names, and you ain't on the team no more. Look at Taco Charlton. So I like what we did. I think, like I said, we got our position. They say we didn't get the position of need right away. We should have went defense. But if you got one of the best receivers out there in the draft, you can, you gotta make other moves other way.
That's how I feel about our receiver Pittman. I feel like we got the best.
But I told you about Pittman.
I feel like I'm just saying. I feel like we got the best receiver in the draft.
You think the best receiver in the draft?
I think I got the best receiver in the draft.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm a CD Lamb fan, and I like CD from the beginning. But I've really looked at Pittman.
Like that.
Pittman might be the best receiver in the draft. I'm gonna be honest with you. Especially with Philip.
The father, come from NFL, play running back, Tampa Bay, multiple teams, great hands. I mean, it's gonna be, it's gonna be good. But I'm sorry, Prescott, the contract situation. What's going on, man? What's up, man?
I'll tell you the biggest thing.
Because I know you were talking crazy some months back about that.
Yeah, so I was. I'll tell you the big thing with Dak right now. It's all a matter of. It's not the money. It's not the money.
It's not the money for him?
No. It's the difference of a 4-year or a 5-year deal.
Okay.
And that money is the difference of saving on the cap for Dallas. And then Dak wants that 4-year deal, so he'll be 31, 32 by the time you get that next big contract. You figure
the 5 year. Do you think they'll keep? Well, I guess they will.
A lot can happen in 5 years. Yeah. So let me get a short deal now, knowing that Mahomes is going to raise the bar. Deshaun Watson's going to raise the bar somewhat.
Raise the bar for who?
As far as
for him?
No, long term.
Yeah.
Long term. You figure if Mahomes get 40 this year, you know what I mean? In 4 years, that can get 45, 46. Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson coming up. These players are getting new contracts too. So it's not. People think it's about the money, the money is going to be the money regardless. It's that 4-year, 5-year deal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm glad you said that because I was wondering every time I see a little bit of it. Because honestly, I hear so much about it now, man. Because I just turned the TV. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about that Prescott and his contract.
We always
so,
in the news, baby.
You know what I'm saying? It's always in the news, man. So I didn't know if are we talking about a couple million? Are we talking about the guaranteed money? Are we talking about the length of the contract? So you talking about the year.
It's
So
the years.
I appreciate that, knowing some more clarity. So basically, he wants 4 years instead of 5.
He wants 4 instead
What's
of
the
5.
guaranteed money that he wants? And what's the guaranteed money?
The guaranteed
that
money
that you're willing to give him?
Well, guaranteed you got to give him at least more than Carson. I think Carson got like 92 and a half. So you got to at least start by like 95.
Gotcha.
But you make 36 makes him the highest paid average per year. You know, but you go 90, 95 to 100. The thing is, Carson got 92. Is he better than Carson? You can go up or down with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can.
Jared Goff got 101.
He buried Jared Goff. I know Jared Goff had a bad.
Yeah.
Give me another year.
Give me another year.
I mean, I don't want this. I'll put like this. Last year he was better. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to poo-poo Jared Goff that quick because the year before he played better. But I need to see another year.
But Goff got 100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
and they paid him.
Yeah. So where do you fall?
Yeah.
You gotta give him at least somewhere around 95, 96. But it's about that 4 or 5 years. If we
Okay.
give Dak a 4-year now, he'll sign today.
Now, I know you probably a little emotional when you were talking about, but at one point a couple months ago, you were talking about letting that go.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got Andy Dalton. And
Oh, yeah,
people like that.
I don't like Dalton.
You're fine with that?
You don't like Dalton?
I'm talking about Super
Yes,
Bowl.
sir.
I'm talking about
Super Bowl?
I'm talking not talking about getting close. Who makes you better to win a Super Bowl?
Oh, who makes us better than the Super Bowl?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But coming from, like I said, if you're a Cowboys fan, you know our backups ain't been nothing. You know, so if you tell me you got Andy,
Except Romo. He took
over.
He took Bledsoe.
yeah, but when you got Andy Dalton as a backup,
Yeah, that's
you can win some games. I mean, if
yeah.
Dak missed 3, Dak don't really miss games, but
Yeah.
if you miss 3 or 4 games,
Yeah.
you can go 3-1 with Dalton.
Yeah.
Especially with those weapons.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I just think that take the
But,
5.
but
take
you
the
still
4 and
want
5.
that. But you still want Dalton as your backup.
I want him as a
If
backup.
he's starting going into the season, how are you feeling? You're not feeling as confident.
No, because I think our strength of schedule was a little difficult in the early part of the season.
So you need
Yeah,
better.
yeah. So I think I definitely want.
Okay.
And then I don't want to put that. If we start Dalton, teams know Zeke's getting that ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least with Dak back there, you still got to fear a little bit. He threw for 5,000 yards last year, so you still got to fear that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you start Dalton, you know Zeke's touching it 32 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that
That's real. That's real. I see you.
You want to go get Cam?
I see you. Boy, Cam's still there.
I'll
Cam was on the Odell.
I'll pay
over
Cam
the
25 and be good.
Yeah, he was. He was. And what do you think about that? Are you surprised he's still a free agent? And who do you expect him to sign with someone at least by the time training camp? So.
No, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Training camp over, got to be injured.
Yeah.
If there's an injury, Cam will sign with the injury with the right
It's
team.
crazy. The former MVP out the league like that.
I don't see him signing to be an automatic backup. I don't see him doing like a Jameis Winston type contract. You know what I'm saying? But Cam just need the right location, then the right end. Somebody get hurt. If Big Ben goes down in preseason, that's
And again, though,
a
you
Cam Newton
can't
spot.
even tell me that you talking about systematic racism. You tell me Cam Newton can't be a backup quarterback in the league.
Man,
I mean, I mean that's so.
What is he, like,
I mean,
31,
he's 31, man. Like I mean, come on. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's so multi-layered and so much, but you know, you can't tell me this man shouldn't be in the league.
nah.
You know, he should be in the league, but he was still in the Odell over the weekend.
He was playing basketball with Quavo and
What
Todd Gurley.
Yeah. So we'll see. But look, man, we appreciate everybody tuning in for another podcast. If you are just getting on, you know, go ahead and take a look at it, share it, comment, all that good stuff. I'm gonna try to find SB. We might come back on live tonight. Brad, I got SB fired up, so we're gonna get into it and talk. But man, let's keep having these conversations. You know, Black Lives Matter. If you haven't realized that yet, you know, just like unfortunately for our guest in here, Mr. Drew Brees, he didn't get it. He didn't get it yet. I talked about that on POV show. Shout out POV. You know, Mr. Brees took a bad time to say.
Somebody gave him bad
to say
information.
what he said bad
Somebody
information.
told him.
I don't know where he was at. He said that a few years ago was fine, but he can't say.
Yeah, somebody
you know,
told him.
what happened. People kneel for the flag and all that. Now it was a bad time. We'll see. You know, we'll see what happens with that team. But let's keep having these conversations. Denzel was good. Turtle was good. We appreciate everybody, man. Anything else you want to say, man, to the people, man? You know what I mean? Anything, man. Anything you want to, share?
Yeah, I'm getting ready. It was good being back. I want to thank my brother Lance, and I appreciate you. I mean, we sat back and talked about it the other day.
Yeah,
this been going on for about over 2 years now.
Yeah, this is year 3.
Yeah,
Actually.
year
It's
3.
crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I found Mika had said something about it, and I found a couple old videos, and they even look different. Like, you know what I'm saying? we come a long way. I say we because we all been doing this together. So I appreciate you, man.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you. And then the wife got something brewing in the kitchen. Coming soon. Ladies, you will be blessed.
What's up, man?
But I definitely want to give a shout out to just the community. You know what I mean? If you look at Facebook and look at your friends, people they're doing their own businesses, lawn services, people selling candles, selling shirts,
selling drinks, everything.
Yeah, drinks. I need an ISO T-shirt 3X baby. 50 East. I need a 50 East sweatshirt.
Not a fade.
Not a fade. I ain't had. What do you say? I ain't had words with the man. But I'm hearing Not a Fade is doing good things over there, and
so we need something.
Yeah, definitely. Go out here and support, man. Like I said, we're trying to do things differently. We got to play our part, and that might be the part that we need to play. So let's support what people are trying to do out here and as a community, and really, like I said, find a way to people are branch out doing their own thing. So keep that up. Like I said, the list can go on and on. We're looking at KDL now. So the list can go on and on.
Oh, sure.
Skinner's wife, Boss Fitness. So just shout out to all y'all doing y'all thing. Like I said, people keep things brewing, keep things coming.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through it.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Won't be the last time. Appreciate you coming, dropping. I know, I gave you the remote option, but I figured you want to get out the house.
Yeah, get a little air.
Got your beautiful wife in our presence, in the building. Shout out to Nisha, So we appreciate everybody. Royal Sports Fan Podcast. We'll be back. Actually, we'll be back next Monday, but look to something real special that's coming for the Royal Sports Fan Podcast. It'll be out in a few days. I'll let y'all know about that. Share it. Peace. We out here.